It'll be a good time.
All right. Hello, everyone. If I did this correctly, press the right button and all that kind of stuff. So I have with me Ryan and Jack from Jack. Oh my gosh! Hold on, I'm too loud. Hold on.
Oh, that was us. Sorry, we forgot.
We both did the rookie mistake of not turning off our YouTube videos. Let's redo. Hi, everyone. My name is Becky Park, and this is my YouTube channel. And with me, I have Ryan and Jack from Jack Valentine's YouTube channel. But you can also find them. They put their Instagram handles underneath themselves.
We got them right.
We lined them up with ourselves.
We switched them, so I don't have Jack's handle underneath.
I'm proud of you. Good job. So thank you guys so much for being here. Kind of like how all these things start. If you can see us and hear us, please let us know. I feel like you can because everyone's saying hi. So there's Beth and Ginger Marvin and Monarchs and Margaritas. That is a wonderful, wonderful YouTube handle. Thriftala, Daniela. So all of you guys who are here, thank you so much. I want to disclose one thing. I am wearing pajamas. The same bottom too. Matthew DeAndrea. Okay, Matthew DeAndrea is a student of mine. So isn't it like past bedtime, Matthew? I don't understand. Okay. But I'm wearing PJs because today is my son's 3rd birthday. He's asleep right now, and we all got matching PJs. So I wanted to.
That's so sweet. His little birthday cake. Love it.
That is my son. Oh my gosh.
Big fan.
He's something else. Did
you do anything fun for your son's birthday?
Did
you go anywhere? But no.
We went to. This is so sad. So I live in like corn country. I mean, you guys are probably familiar. It is extremely flat. There's this like one hill. There's a hill. It's like a 10-minute walk from us. It's like on the outside of our neighborhood. And they like to visit this hill that is covered with like dandelions and stuff like that. So he got a new balance bike, and he didn't even ride his balance bike there. But we just like went to the hill. They like run around and do stuff. So
love that.
That was his 3rd birthday.
I mean, that's fun.
Out of all the options we have.
Yeah. I feel like everybody in the Midwest, though, in your neighborhood has like the hill. Like I remember I had the hill when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when it snows, everyone grabs their.
Yeah. You sled.
Yeah. You just go to the same hill.
It's a 2-second ride, but ooh.
I know. It's amazing. So that's what we did. We went to the hill. We got matching PJs and wore them. They're from Target. They're Harry Potter themed. I wanted to put that disclosure out there. So if you are just joining us one more time, I just wanted to say thank you to Ryan and Jack from Jack Valentine. Ryan, you can also find at, you know what? Okay, look, I'm super fancy. Bam. Okay.
I didn't know you could do that. You're more advanced.
Okay, so that is their YouTube channel. This is their website, and these are their Instagram handles. I know.
I don't even know how to do
That's so cool. Okay, we're gonna.
So I'll leave this up for now because YouTube. But so I have them on my channel. One, because we're friends and I love them and they're amazing. Like I said, this is their YouTube channel at Jack Valentine, and there are a lot of resellers out there making YouTube content. Sorry, I'm gonna make you guys sit there awkwardly while I talk about you.
No, it's fine.
So, they have a YouTube channel, but I think one of the things I appreciate so much about their YouTube channel is the fact that they really know their stuff. They're good at what they're doing, and they're putting out a lot of good, information, but they're also really funny. Like I literally laugh out loud in probably every single video. And I feel like it's hard to do, like you're sharing information about clothes and stuff, and it's hard sometimes to like have that be funny, but they're just so fun. And Jack is a full-time reseller. Ryan is reselling part-time, and that's because he is also going to school for art education, which is
Zoom University currently.
Yes. And they are in Iowa, but they typically, in their previous life, they would thrift and do all that stuff in Minneapolis, which is how far from you guys?
It's a 3-hour drive.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, if we're spending like a couple days there, it's not like.
Yeah, that's true. Because who has family there? Yeah. Okay.
That's where I'm from, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have somewhere to go and like stay. You're not like getting a hotel every time or anything like that. Yeah.
And for how much better the thrifting is there, it is totally worth
It's
the
definitely
time.
worth the drive.
Yeah. I remember I watched a video of yours where you went to like the bins in Iowa or something.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were just like,
The Des Moines bins. I remember that's where I started. That was my first like bins experience was the Des Moines bins, and they were amazing. But like I don't know, yeah, like Rock Revival jeans, you know,
yeah.
I found a ton of Lululemon. I remember a ton of Anthro, and then like I didn't go for like 2 months, and it just
Yeah.
plummeted.
Well,
I don't know what happened. I think the Goodwill auction people kind of stepped in and took over.
Oh, probably.
Like, conspiracy theory, but like
Yeah.
You might even be thinking about the bins that they just opened right by us here. The Waterloo bins.
Woof.
They're just like
That's the video
boxes.
you guys made?
Yes.
Okay.
They're just like boxes that
They're
they
like,
switch out once a week.
It's bad.
Once a week?
So
Yes, but it's still like the same pricing and it works the same
I
way,
know.
but it's like
it's the joy.
Boy, that is
Make that
so
money.
sweet of you. A super sticker. That is really cute. That makes me feel a lot better. I was trying these two. I've had a weird Monday. I mean, it was my son's birthday, but it was still also just a weird day. So, Sister Joy, thank you so much.
Aw, love that.
I know. Thanks for the super chat. Okay. Well, let's start off with this. I think that if people are familiar with you guys, which I don't understand how they wouldn't be, but if they aren't, maybe if you want to talk a little bit about how you guys got started with reselling, but also I think I am really interested in hearing like, why are you reselling now? You know, I mean, a lot of people start, but then like, why did you continue to do it? Like Jack, why are you doing that full time? Ryan, why are you doing that as you go to school and stuff? But what is it about reselling that has you guys like hooked that you're still doing it?
That's a good question. I love this.
Well, okay, so I started like in the summer between my junior and senior year of college. And I was just kind of doing like electronics because that's what interested me and that's what I like knew a lot about and could kind of figure out how to resell. And then I met Ryan and he was already doing Poshmark.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing that and I had a ton of fun with it because I've always loved fashion and it just came like super naturally to me. I don't even know why. And so throughout my senior year of college, I was already like stepping up to like the level of close to being full-time, and I was making like so much more than my job at Walgreens. So I left Walgreens, which I'd been working at for like
too long,
4 or 5 years, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And so by the time I graduated, I was like basically at that full-time level. And I don't know, then when I graduated, I was just like, I mean, I went to school for business, and this is me running a business, so I don't feel like I'm not using my degree in any way, shape, or form. And I was having so much fun, and I was actually enjoying my job, and so I just like couldn't leave it for something where I would just be stuck in a cubicle all day, being a great person.
No.
And by job, you mean like your reselling job?
Yeah, yeah.
Not your Walgreens job because you've left that. Or are you still doing that too?
No, I left that a while ago, a long time ago.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
So I started when I was like 15 technically. It's just kind of like picking through the Plato's Closet clearance section and then like flipping it on the side for just like a little bit extra money. And then I got to college and I was like, well, I don't want to get like a college job. I don't want to like work in the dining center. Because oh god, that sounds awful. And you make
and
I was like, no. So I started just like kind of casually going to Goodwill with my friends and picking stuff up a little bit more than I had in the past. And then once we moved in together, I was like, okay, so I really don't want a college job. Like I love being able to like work on my own schedule, especially because I'm an art student. I need a ton of studio time. I need a ton of like time to go teach and like work on that part of my degree as well. So I'm like, I get the best of both worlds. I can make money and support myself, and I also don't need to be like, I have to go to the dining center at 7 for my shift. It's amazing. I can work from anywhere. Yeah. If I get like a break in classes, I can just share my closet a couple of times.
Yeah.
For money. I love it.
I wish I knew about reselling when I was in college because I had a handful of, those crappy college jobs too. And I wasn't very good at them because like you said, like, it's not like you get to decide when you want to show up and when you're like, you know.
Like
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Jack, I think you said something really interesting, and I bet Ryan, like you can think of this too. Like a lot of times when I think about reselling, and then my full-time job is I'm a high school choir teacher, and I think most people see those two and they're like, there seems to be such a disconnect there. Like it's not like you can really draw from one for the other, you know? But I actually feel like my teaching experience has helped a lot with my reselling business as well as YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like Jack, like your business background for like what you studied in school probably does play a huge part into, you know, why you guys are so successful. So if you want to talk about that, but then also like Ryan, I feel like coming from that side of like art and, you know, studying education and stuff, I think that there's a lot that you can bring to the table too, to your own business with that background that people may not think of, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my major was accounting specifically, but to get any major business major, you have to take all of the bare bone classes like marketing and management and all of them. So I have like the universal kind of knowledge of business. And then accounting, I took one accounting tax class that I had to take. Not fun at all. It was terrible.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But it is that taught me quite a lot about like filing my own taxes. Like neither of us have to hire a CPA to do our taxes. We can do it on our own. And so it helps there. And yeah, management helps because like, or marketing helps. Yeah, no, marketing helps because like it taught us how to like, or taught me how to like market through social media and just various things that like work. And we've like looked at other businesses and small businesses in school and seen how they've taken off or what's really helped. And so, yeah, that taught me quite a lot.
Yeah. I feel like my art side of my degree, I'll use this hand because that hand is really nice because it's like I designed my own logo a while ago. Like I really feel like if I need any sort of like promotional, you know, ephemera, I can do that. And it's also really good with the education side because a lot of what I do is you just talk to people.
Yeah.
And just like you make connections, especially with students, like, you know, you get to know them a little bit and you kind of like really understand what they're doing. And I feel like that's kind of what I do on Poshmark or like on social media or anywhere is like you make a connection with somebody, even if it's just like over used clothes versus like over some kid like drawing of his or her house. You know, it's kind of like that really innate ability to just like talk to people. And like, listen to them and then just kind of like absorb it and then like keep that conversation going.
Yeah. I think that's the part of kind of my education background that I draw on a lot too when it comes to reselling. Like even things like when people leave like weird comments or nasty comments on like your listing or, you know, in a YouTube comment or on Instagram or something, you know, I feel like a lot of times you see people like show those things on Instagram and they're like, look what someone said. Like,
oh my gosh, they're like, my day. And I'm like, delete it.
But I feel like what you're saying, like learning how to talk to people and like learning to meet them where they're at and understanding like it really has nothing to do with you, you know, but
exactly
their personal whatever that they're bringing to the table and just like, being able to talk to people. I feel like that's been one of the best things about my education background. So for sure. I was wondering if you would kind of feel the same way, but that's
no, I'm picking up what you're putting down 100%. I especially feel like that's a big point of like really understanding that like, especially like negativity on social media and like even YouTube is not like a big problem, but like it's definitely still really prevalent.
Yeah.
And I feel like being able to just kind of like thicken your skin up and realize that like it's 100% not anything you did.
Yeah.
But like to just kind of like put that barrier in between like somebody's just being negative on the internet versus like, you know, which I'm a huge proponent.
Yeah.
Love it.
You look like you're dying to say something.
No, I'm not. Becky's got experience dealing with the like sassy high schoolers, so she knows how to deal with the sassy postures.
The sassy, like,
are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I said you have experience with sassy high schoolers.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I'll talk to some people who are like, oh, someone said this to me. Like they left this comment on my YouTube video or someone. I'm like, so?
I know. I'm just like,
why does that bother you? You know,
ruin your day.
And I tell people all the time, like, you know, when you've been cussed out a lot by like, I mean, not a lot, but like when you've been cussed out by like students and, you know, you sit down and you talk to them and you're like, so what's going on? it's usually not something I did. It's just like they're coming in with stuff. And I think we find the same thing on like Poshmark or on, people are leaving these nasty comments or, just being mean because they have their own issues. It's usually,
Exactly.
It's not about you or me. So actually talking about that a little bit, because I know we talked about Instagram, like on another live that we did together. I think one of the things I admire about you guys too is you guys are really young. I'm like a lot older than you two. You're both really young, but you're really like diligent. You've got great work ethic. And I see that in your consistency, like on YouTube, for example, you guys are constantly like, putting out new content and you're very consistent about it. With like, even, how you guys talk about your hauls and the fact that like you don't really let stuff build up. Like you always try to put stuff, on Poshmark and the different sites that you're selling on. But do you want to talk a little bit about like how you feel like maybe some of the social media stuff like Instagram and YouTube and all that kind of stuff? Do you feel like that's helped your business, or is it just like a fun thing to do because of the community? Like, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So I have a confession. I'm addicted to Instagram. I can't help it. I love it.
That is definitely.
I really, really appreciate the community aspect of it. I love talking to people. I love like reading people's comments, responding to them, and liking other people's and Instagram stories. Oh my God. But like I just choose to ignore all the like the drama and the whatever, just because it's like I don't care. Like if it's not me involved, like I'm not gonna pay attention to it. But I definitely really think that Instagram has like improved my business because I have opened myself up to, 10.6 thousand people, which like, are interested in what I'm doing or like are curious about just like reselling in general. And have like chose to like, use me as that vessel into like, what is this? Or I get the people that like, I'll post something in a story or I'll say like, hey, look at this cute thing I just got. And somebody buys it from me directly from Instagram.
Like someone like me, like I usually come along and I buy stuff from your guys.
Love it. Yeah, but I'm like,
stop going on stories for that exact reason. Like y'all need to stop. It's so bad. I'm going broke. Yeah.
But I feel like that's a big proponent of it too.
Yeah, I'd say that the YouTube and the Instagram both started off for like the enjoyment of it because obviously like when you start, there's really no benefit. Like there's not many people listening or absorbing.
Thousands of followers the day you make your Instagram account.
Yeah, but when it grows, you definitely do add that like benefit for your business, whether it be people directly buying from you or even people just like posting. I learned from like Jack and Ryan, and then that spreads us even farther.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'd say it's still a majority for the enjoyment, probably. It does have its benefits now, but it's mainly because we really like to do it.
It's fun, and I like to take pictures.
Yes.
I like to take package pictures.
Yeah. And I think I get that sense from you guys. Like I get the sense when I'm, seeing your posts and watching your videos, like you guys are having so much fun too. And that's what makes it more enjoyable. We talked about how I'm addicted to Instagram as well. Like the, watching stories and that side. I like hate posting. Like it's such a chore. And you guys are so consistent with it. And that's where we talked about like, but why? Like, what do you get out of it?
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to see, kind of why you guys do that. And I think people appreciate knowing like every day they're going to post a cute package, stack of themselves,
Yeah. Kind of my new purple wall that I found and love.
Yeah.
Especially now, like people do really like to see those posts of like normalcy.
Yeah.
Of like when we just have a package picture outside of our apartment on the wall.
Yeah.
And they just see that. I think it's just
like
it's
it kind of calms everybody
kind
down
of
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like, oh wait, not everything is like, crashing and burning because like so and so is outside of a brick wall taking a package picture.
Yeah.
Like when we did our online arbitrage haul like a week ago,
2 weeks ago.
It had way more views than our other ones because I think people like thrift haul is so much more like the olden days that like it's very calming to kind of see these things that like we were always used to. And stuff.
Yeah. No, I've heard that too. Like I've heard even I think it was Hustle at Home Mama, like Hustle at Home Mom. Yeah. She had posted in her community tab about how she had this video about like a light box. And she was like, I just feel like it's wrong for me to post this because of everything going on in the world. And everyone was like, please just post it. Like we need something to take our mind off of like all the horrible stuff going on. And it was so interesting to see that feedback, so Okay, so the real reason I have you on is because I'm selfish and I want to pick your brains a little bit about, like, I mean, we talked about all the things that you're really good at, but one thing I think that you guys are super, super amazing at, and it just, again, shines through really naturally in your Instagram and your YouTube and stuff. You guys know a lot about what is selling now. You know what brands are popular. You know what the people want. How do you do that? Like, how did you get there? Tell us all about it.
Okay, so here is my this is how I got into it. So when I worked at Plato's Closet, I was a buyer. So I was that teenager that was we'll give you $13 for 150-year things. But to get to that process is corporate sends you this massive binder. This thing is huge, and it's just brand after brand after brand, and old label, current label, styles that are selling really well. And I feel just doing that for so many years, I've just kind of that's just innately what I do whenever I go thrifting and I see something I don't know. Is I'm okay, what's my Plato's Closet binder in my head going to say when I Google this? Or is this a new style? Did I see this somewhere?
Yeah. So I'd say it started off with just a ton of Googling.
Oh.
Lots and lots and lots and
Google
lots of
searches.
Googling. Most of my time in a thrift store would be on my phone Googling. And
was that just based off of you saw something and you're this looks okay, I'll look it up, or was it?
Yeah, just basically almost anything I didn't recognize, I would Google, especially if it felt decent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just I do research on it all the time, just sitting at home, just what prints are really in, star prints in, and stuff like that, or what brands are just kind of having this comeback. Sometimes I'll look at, there's that Target brand Who What Wear,
Who What Wear blog,
and they have a
great.
They have a ton of trendy stuff posted all the time, and just looking at websites of places. If you look, obviously tie-dye is very in right now.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. Adidas just sent me an email of tie-dye sneakers. It's everywhere.
Those would be cute.
And I think I seek it so much because it genuinely interests me so much, which I think not actually you'd think that all of us as clothing resellers would have genuine, super intense interest in clothing, but that's not true.
No,
And There,
I don't know anything about high fashion. I wear t-shirts.
A lot of people don't actually have that bone in their body to have this intense interest in clothing and fashion. Whereas I have always loved high-end brands and fashion and stuff like that. So that helps that I have the genuine interest too.
Yeah. I'm going to pause really quickly because Bolo, buddy.
I was going to say, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You are so sweet. It's super unnecessary, but thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to make you break it down even further because, remember, I'm much older than you. What did you say?
I was going to say, she's taking notes.
Yeah, Becky.
Yeah, I'm So I feel back in the day when I didn't have kids and stuff, one of my favorite pastimes was going to Barnes & Noble. I would grab all those in style, and I would especially look at the tabloid magazines Us Weekly and that stuff, because one, I was weird about celebrity gossip. I needed to know everything for some reason because they were my best friends. And then also you could see what people were wearing, especially celebrities. And I feel 10, 15 years ago, I was super up to date on what were the trendy brands, what are people wearing, what are the trends. But I feel that's even changed. How do you do that?
Nick picked thrift.
Nick picked thrift. Oh, that's right. I made it. Thank you, Nick picked thrift. Again, super unnecessary, but thank you so much. That is so sweet, and better late than never. So that's awesome. Yeah, so I feel nowadays, I feel I still have a general idea. I know Ryan has talked about, he kind of he has a good idea of what's trending because he goes to college and he just looks at what, the girls are wearing and what people are wearing and stuff. And I kind of get that a little bit because of my own students, although I feel my students wear PJs to school every day. So I'm not learning that much, but it's I don't know, when people are just Google it or just look at blogs. And I'm but which one? What should I be Googling? I don't understand. So can you break it down even more? You're saying you're looking up what prints are popular. Where are you, is there a website called these prints are popular?
I feel as an under 30 like social media user, it's almost
It's
like
just
it's almost
innate.
hard to avoid.
Mhm.
Like you're like you just an article pops up on Snapchat that's like Kylie Jenner just wore like this Dior bag, so this Dior bag is suddenly everyone
Like,
wants
it's
it. Or just like
the it
on
bag.
Twitter, you're just scrolling and
Mhm.
you'd see like
just celebrity outfits. It doesn't even have to be anything about like the clothes. It's just
Mhm.
like see that Kylie Jenner is wearing a floral print two-piece, and you're like, oh, okay, so floral print now is really in. It's
or
just
you
kind of
you like see it
innate.
once and you just kind of remember it, and then you suddenly see someone else wearing it, and you're like,
Mhm.
and you just kind of pick up on like, okay, this is really in. Like sometimes I'll see like multiple like other poshers posting it to their story that even like they're super into some certain print or like saying or brand or something.
Mhm.
Like everyone's posting tie-dye right now. Again, to go back to tie-dye. It's
Yeah.
just like suddenly
It's really
I
popular.
mean, even I know that tie-dye is in now, you know, because like you said, it's everywhere. Yeah.
You just kind of like pick up on it here and there. I don't
Mhm.
actually really like follow any bloggers, and
No,
I really
don't
don't
either.
look at too many websites except that Who What Wear every once in a while.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just like you naturally just kind of notice it repeated in a couple different places.
I think mine, so along with my Instagram addiction, I have an internet shopping addiction. And I feel like I kind of like, so my way of being like, oh, like, you know, I'll go to like Urban Outfitters and like look for something for me, but I'll like consider it work and I'll go to the Just In tab.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the thing where they're like summer styles 2020 Just In. And I'm like, okay, so like she's wearing a denim like cutoff skirt and she's wearing these really funky like vintage Levi shorts and like Doc Martens is another huge one for me. I love a good pair of boots.
Mhm.
So like really chunky leather sandals are coming back in.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like I see it when I shop for myself, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so let's like take the t-shirts and shorts and expand it to what everybody else is wearing.
Yeah, that too. I do notice it more from like the actual stores themselves too,
Yeah.
like whether it be going to their website, like Anthro's website or Free People's website,
or like the Nordstrom website to kind of get like what are the rich people wearing.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
back when we would go to like Mall of America and you'd see stuff kind of everywhere, and that would actually teach us quite a lot too.
That's really fun. Yeah, when we can go back outside, go to your like department stores or the mall
If they're there.
yeah, and just like get a Starbucks and just walk around.
Yeah.
Like pay attention to what the mannequins are wearing. Like pay attention to what like is really trendy. Like in the younger person section, don't go to the like, you know,
Christopher and Banks.
Yeah, well, no, Christopher and Banks. You know, Christopher Banks do need a trend, but like, don't go to the like, you know, the kind of staples like the men's suits, the women's like, you know, older demographic formal wear. Like, go to the younger stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kari.
Is it Kari?
It's probably Carrie.
Anytime I say Kari, I think of the girl from The Incredibles.
Incredibles? I don't know.
I don't know.
Kari. Anyway.
Now you're making me think of Mercari, like the app.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Carrie, Kari, G, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. They are so helpful. You are excellent. Yes. So, okay, this is what I'm hearing you say. I'm basically hearing you say it helps if you're under 30. So,
It's like,
I know, but there's more to that. So it helps if you're young, but it helps. Basically, you're saying be observant. Like, be observant.
yeah, exactly.
Go out, look at what people are wearing. Look at, you know, these different retailers online, because obviously, like, we can't go out right now. And I think you're right. Like even I know that right now tie-dye is like a huge thing. I kept hearing like stars were a huge thing, like star prints and stuff. And I think it is kind of like paying attention to what is being repeated out there amongst not just, you know, celebrities, but also among the common people. You know.
It's like noticing and absorbing what you see or hear from all these different places and just kind of picking out what you've seen or hear be repeated. Like sometimes
like
Brian's sister will say this random thing that she wants. And I'm like, I'd seen these like all over this one website and like she's in high school. So then all of a sudden you put two and two together and you're like,
oh,
probably on
I should
trend.
probably like look out for this. Or like I follow her friends on Instagram. I'm like, what are they wearing? What can I get
the
from
mom.
you? Yeah, I'm just like, A, are you being safe on the internet? And B, what do your clothes look like?
Yeah. See, it's like if Matthew DeAndrea is still in this chat, like you need to tell your friends, like they need to step it up. Like my high schoolers are just not like one of my girls was wearing like a really cute sweater, and I was like, "Where's your sweater from?" She's like, "Loft," and I'm like, "Really?
What?
She's like, "Yeah, like all my clothes are from Loft."
You're like, are you going to your 9 to 5?
I know. I mean, and it was really cute, but it was like, Really? Is that what you guys are wearing?
I don't think about high schoolers.
Yeah, I feel like
I think a lot of that is kind of specific to. I live in a weird town. It's weird, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me, based off of where I live. So I think it helps, like you guys were saying, like go out and go to your malls and whatever. If you live in more of a metropolitan area, kind of like the Hodunk, is like lots of cows and corn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your mall might not have the best representation on their mannequins of what is.
They're really coming at us.
If we didn't have access to Minneapolis, we wouldn't.
Oh,
we wouldn't have a mall to go to.
We live in
trendy
farm country. If I had to go by the people here, it's like Wrangler jeans, Ford F-150s, and plaid shirts. Or
this is my student Matthew. She's really coming at Matthew. Stepping up the game though. You come to school looking good every day, so good for you. But you know what I'm talking about though, Matthew. You know what I'm talking about.
He goes, wow.
She's mad now.
No. Oh my gosh, that's
so buddies again.
Thank you.
Buddy. She's like, just stop yelling at your student.
Yeah.
She's like,
Matthew, you're the best. True Religion Crew. Hashtag True Religion Crew. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. I had something to circle back to, and now I can't remember it, but let's move on. So you guys, are really good at understanding what's in and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people have the opinion that to be successful on Poshmark and to, sell to, or to have repeat buyers and stuff like that, it's important to have a curated closet. Do you guys subscribe to that idea? And if so, who is your buyer? Who's shopping from your closet? Who's your ideal customer?
I don't think you need to.
Well, I don't think you need to. I would say mine is not curated. It kind of goes from cheaper, as in for me and mine is probably Free People or Anthro around $30, up to really luxury, high-end, expensive brands.
Bougie bags.
But I mean, I guess those still are all probably more mature audiences. I don't really do Urban Outfitters. I don't really do Brandy Melville. I don't do Champion. I don't do I already said Urban Outfitters. I don't do much of those teen brands. So I guess I have a demographic of maybe a more mature woman or
money on the wall.
I don't know.
Rich lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rich lady.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you, Amber.
Amber. You guys, I always have I'm very, what's the word? Self-conscious about my interviewing skills. That's why I don't do a lot of these. So
everyone tell Becky she's doing so amazing.
Okay, you do not need to tell me I'm doing a good job. But so that really feeds my heart. Thank you, Amber. Bola Buddy said she is drilling them out. I am. I told you I have selfish reasons as to why these boys are metal.
Becky's gonna have a filter on her screen of money raining down.
Love.
She's just all the tips.
Yes. No. Okay. Sorry. We cut you guys off.
I feel my closet is definitely more of an aesthetic versus a curation. I'm just I like to wear a lot of color. I like to wear kind of hippy dippy boho-y things, which I feel applies to a larger range of people. But I also kind of am really into just really comfortable, trendy things.
Yeah.
Which why not? So I feel mine is definitely one of my favorite repeat customers. She's not an older one, but she's definitely not a teenager. So I feel I have a market that is a little bit more mature, and I do sell.
You're more across the board.
I do sell to 15-year-old girls buying $40 with a Brandy Melville, which perfect.
And it almost links to our interests. Because I'm super interested in luxury and high end, and so I have quite a lot of that. Whereas Ryan does have that bit of interest in the more trendy Champion and Urban Outfitters.
I do sell a ton of Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel my luxury is definitely not I'm not going to be selling a Chanel tote. That's just not my bag. But I definitely think trendy luxury that kind of feeds into my colorful kind of hippy dippy aesthetic is definitely up my alley.
Yeah, it's less curation, more just personal taste.
It's more just
yeah. No, that's really interesting. And I always was so curious about, because typically you guys like to source at the bins, which, obviously you haven't been able to do very recently. But when you guys are there, like sometimes I'm wondering to myself, like, don't they fight over like who gets what? And I'm sure part of it is like dibs, right? Like I found it first, so it's going in my cart. But I feel like I've also heard you guys say in videos, like, I found this and I gave it to Ryan, or I found this and I gave it to Jack. And is that more, again, kind of what you guys are talking about with your personal?
Yeah, it is like
we
that.
do have a shoe rule. We have the shoe rule.
Oh.
If whoever finds, like if we find an unmatched pair, whoever finds the first one first gets the other one whenever the other one finds it.
But a repeated thing by me in like a thrift store or the bins is go farther away. Because Ryan's like in my bin or he's on my rack, and I'm like, go away. Because like
go.
Then we will probably fight over something. But I'm always like, how about you go like a couple aisles down, so we don't have to fight over.
Be right next to me. I'm like,
Yeah,
I do. I feel like if I find something that I'm like, oh, this is like up his alley, I'll give it to him. And if he finds some like free people something, then he's like, this is for you.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing Ryan likes to do is he comes over to like tell me something, and then as soon as he's done talking, he turns and he goes about 6 items down from me on the rack, splits it, pushing it into me, and then just looking at it.
I'm like, what can I find?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's like the telltale sign of the reseller, right? Is like this, like the divide of like pushing them over so that they can do this.
I do that all the time. Or like,
if
you ever see me like in the wild, I go so fast.
Yeah, that too.
I'm just
a reseller. You can always tell because they're like looking just at the tag and like,
I know.
Yeah.
When I take my husband thrifting with me, because he likes it actually. He likes it, but only for like he can last about an hour, and then he's like, "When are we going soon? Like, what's happening?" But he is good because he's slow. Like because he doesn't know everything yet. But like if he's like in the men's like dress pants section, like how especially in pants, like it's hard to find the tags sometimes. And he will look at every pocket like until he finds like the brand. So he's found like Hugo Boss sometimes, or stuff like that, and he finds it by like it's like on the inside of, I don't know, like it's just so crazy that he found it.
Dang.
Yeah, if I don't see it in the first like 2 seconds, moving on.
Yeah,
I know. So it's like, when we're done, I'll have like a whole cart full of stuff, and he's got like 8 things, but they're typically really good, and he's gone through it. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but you guys have recently been coming out with some videos about selling on Mercari as well, and about how Mercari and Poshmark are not the same beast, and you have definitely like strategy when it comes to what you are going to, cross list over to Mercari. Can you talk to us a little bit about, what you think the difference is between the two, and what brands you are seeing sell over on Mercari? And then even like, how did you figure that out? Like, how did you learn these are Mercari brands? It's not even worth it. Like, I'm just going to keep them on Poshmark or whatever.
So we both have the goal of like at some point getting everything cross-posted to Mercari. It's taking forever, but like through doing that, Mercari, like the buyers on Mercari make it very obvious what they like, because you'll list something and like bam, it has 8 likes right away, which happens
really
like
fast.
with Torrid. Oh my gosh, you list it and like by the end of the day, there's like 9 likes.
Urban Outfitters is another one of those. If you list it, it's not going to make it a week.
Whereas other
is that one, Ryan? I missed it.
Urban Outfitters.
Oh, Urban Outfitters. Really? Okay.
And whereas like other things you'll list and it'll get like 1 like or like 2 or something, but it's just it makes it pretty obvious. Like it gets likes if it's going to be popular.
I also feel like Poshmark has a very definite like customer. Like there is a Poshmark person, and I feel like Mercari, it's just kind of like a heap. Like it's just a ton of different demographics. It's a ton of different people.
Yeah.
Where like, Posh is like a little bit more specific, like a little bit more not higher end necessarily, but like a little bit more like curated, and like they definitely are like looking for a specific thing. Whereas Mercari is just kind of like you find anything and you get whatever you want.
And the thing with Posh is it's a lot more like it needs to be newer and trendier.
It's very trendy.
You can put older Torrid, or you can even put like older Kate Spade or Coach purses, which would do probably horrible on Posh, and they will sell like basically just as well as like newer ones.
$50 or Mercari.
So it's like less picky on Mercari too, which is nice.
Yeah.
Not as like professional. Where I feel like if I'm gonna list something on Posh, I need to put like studio lights and kind of like really work on the pictures. Whereas Mercari, I don't feel that like it needs to be up to that standard. It can just kind of be like a little more homegrown.
Yeah.
Nice.
For sure. But I mean, typically you're using the same pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's 100% lists perfectly. But like back in the day, when I didn't know it existed.
Yeah. I don't know. And I've talked to so many people about this, like Bolo Buddies, who is in the chat, has a bunch of Mercari videos as well on her channel. And she does a lot of like hard goods, but she does clothes too. And there are all these people who are like, I do so well on Mercari. And I'm like, but how? Like if I am lucky, will make one sale a week over there. And I'm hearing you guys talk about, the stuff that you're listing. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm listing it, but it's just not. Yeah,
for me, I don't get a ton of Mercari sales.
No.
Because I think actually my stuff is priced a little high for Mercari. Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. The expectations are lower, but like the price is expected to be lower too.
Yeah.
And so, I don't make a ton of sales on there. My mom makes a lot of sales on there because she prices her stuff a lot lower.
How many did you sell?
She just started using Mercari like this week, and she made like 14 sales in 2 days.
Like Debbie.
And she's selling like Armor and like Torrid.
Yeah, it's just kind of like run of the mill, like like not the newest stuff, but definitely like a good deal. But also stuff that like if you like,
So I'm more like you, where I don't make like a ton of sales on Mercari.
Yeah.
I don't know what does well on there, and I can sell Torrid on there every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I can sell
like free people every now and again.
Yeah, not all the time,
kind of
but it's nice to have it just as a side.
It's
thing.
a nice little like.
Nice
little like surprise. When I get
a surprise. That's I guess that's what I would call it.
For a certain amount of income every month or something.
Yeah. Lori Tata wants to know. Oops. Hold on. If your hat is for sale.
Where's it from? It's
Adidas. It's from the outlet. Which
nice. It is really cute.
I know. I love it.
And the fact that your sweat, blood, and tears are on it makes it only more.
$100,
you guys can have that private conversation later. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all these people who are putting out Mercari content, please keep doing it. I mean, I don't know. People are killing it over there. So it definitely is, like Jack's mom is killing it as are other people. So it's definitely a viable platform. I just cannot get it to work for me. But I mean, thank you guys for putting that content out there. So what do you think, by the way, if you are just joining us and it's, the introductions have been a while, I have Jack and Ryan here from the Jack Valentine YouTube channel. And one kind of video that you guys put out a lot of that I think is really helpful are your like Bolo videos, but also your Nolo ones, which are like the things to be really good. We're not picking it up anymore. And that's because it just doesn't sell for us the way that it used to. I will say too, probably my all-time favorite video that you guys ever put out was the who's shopping here? Is what it's called?
The who's buying this question mark?
Oh my god, those are so fun.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what that video. I literally was like crying laughing, like as I was watching it. Just
they are satirical.
Yes.
They are meant to be. It's a joke.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, we had this video called Who's Buying This Stuff, I think, or something like that. Something very similar to that. And we picked out brands that are very like unique in their own ways.
They're very different.
And we like mentally designed what we picture
we stereotyped the customer
stereotypical
and, like,
customer base.
We just kind of
we made them into like a singular
mimicked
woman.
And mocked.
And then we like imitated their accents. We like said things they'd say. We like painted a picture of what their life is like and everything.
Funny. And they're it's just a good laugh. Because like all the time when we're thrifting and we're like, who would wear this? Yeah. And that's kind of just like that's all that we did.
It had a few thumbs downs because I think some people took it a little like if you really like Eileen Fisher, you might be offended by it.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, did you guys get a lot of like not bad comments, but like comments of people being like,
it had a bit more thumbs down than usual, but like I don't think we really got any comments that were like, you guys are like being mean or
because I think like we tried to preface it a little bit in the front by saying like this is a joke, like these are just like our little like we do this all the time in the thrift store.
Yeah.
find something of these brands, or like when we find, like I just saw somebody say Rebecca Minkoff,
Rebecca
Minkoff all the time. So
But-
it's just kind of like we put them all.
Yeah,
together.
it kind of like grew off of like when we do our hauls and stuff. Sometimes we put accents on someone. We
Yeah.
always make fun of Eileen Fisher. It is not supposed to be offensive. We just do it
She's
because
just a funny little person.
Yeah.
Who makes clothes.
so like it just kind of like we do it here and there every once in a while. And we were like, you know what, with like what's happening, we were like, let's
A little
make
comedic
something just
relief.
funny.
Yeah.
Because, like
and they're
Why
funny,
not?
and they're funny to do.
yeah.
Yes. And I need you to make like 100 more of those. Like I need one a week. It was just like
For me,
the
that's
perfect thing to just like, I put the link for that particular video. That's why my face went kind of like slacked off for a second. I was like trying to listen. But so the link is right there. If you guys need a good laugh and you're not going to be like easily offended by dumb stuff, like
It's like not offensive. It's just
not offensive. Yeah. But
I really liked one of these brands.
like if Nick and Joe was your like
Your go-to
you're a diehard.
brand.
Like you got
Yeah.
the Nick and
you
Joe
might
credit
just
card.
be like,
just skip that part when we start
Mhm.
talking about it. Just move to the next
yeah.
one.
But
yeah,
oh
we
my
got
God.
requests to do more of those. So we probably will.
We
at some point.
should.
We
They're
just have to
fun.
come up with like what other brands
I
like
know we have to think of more brands that we can like
that there's like
kind
stereotypical
of poke fun of.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh. That was amazing. Sorry, I sidetracked us, but I was talking about, the kinds of videos that you guys put out. You don't put out enough of those, but a lot of it is like what's on trend. I mean, you even have like kind of trend reports of like, here is what's trending right now. What would you say is trending right now to those of us who are trying to get creative about sourcing online and, doing porch pickups and all that kind of stuff?
I'm trying to think of like
Tie-dye.
tie-dye definitely. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like what I'm looking for. Square-toed, like those like little kind of like biscuit basket 90s shoes.
Square toe sandals.
Square-toed sandals are a big one.
Kitten heels are very in, like
Mhm.
very in. There's this kind of like, oh my gosh, I'd have to find a picture. There's this kind of like mule where it like goes down your foot and meets at a point at like the center of your foot. I'll have
Oh,
to
like
find
the
a-
Balenciagas.
Yes.
I call those biscuit baskets. I don't know why. That's just like I found a biscuit basket. I think denim is coming back, but not like we all know like the skinny jean. No. I'm talking about like cotton denim, like Levi's. I know Redone is like making a big resurgence, and like Reformation denim is super popular because it's good quality. It's like a really thick, sturdy material, and I think like that. And kind of coming in, I'm becoming Nick and say Resell with the like slow fashion where like it's nice to have things that are nicer quality.
Yeah.
Don't just like get destroyed when you throw them in the washing machine.
Yeah.
I think quality is becoming trendy, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I think people are definitely paying more attention to how the clothes are being made.
Exactly.
And, they're putting a lot of value into it. Which is good. Yeah. For
And they
sure.
think like, especially because what was it? It was like the 5th or 6th year since the Rana Plaza collapse. I think like it's really starting to kind of like be this big, like not moment, but like focus is like where are the things you're buying coming from? Like who are the people making them? How much money are they getting paid?
Mm-hmm.
That's why people love Reformation.
Yeah, or like Reformation, Everlane.
Yeah.
I think Levi's is starting to become a lot more sustainable than they used to be, which is just like the brands that are like doing more and like focusing on like people over profit are starting to become like those really trendy brands.
Yeah. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I like Everlane, and I went to one when I was in New York, and I remember like walking around their store in Soho and being like, so this is it? Like this is
Yeah.
what the hype is about. Like, 'cause it's very minimal and
Yeah.
it's very like they don't even have a lot of like styles out or anything. But yeah, it's but I think that's where the value is. If people are willing to spend that kind of money on something so simple because they know where their clothes, are coming from, and the fact that people are being, treated fairly and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, then I think that's where, like-
Girls? What were they called?
Who?
Girls? Like
Oh, the Visco girls.
yeah, it's kind of like
It's
I'm
a
sure
Visco
you've
girl
heard of it because you're in a
complex.
high school.
Yeah, that was one of
Girl
our
thing.
days for homecoming. We had a virtual girl.
And, like, Spencer. He was-
Yeah.
Like that whole like trend, a lot of the parts of that trend had to do with like caring about the planet, like the straws and
turtles
everything.
and the metal
Yeah.
straws.
And like though that was kind of a joke and like weird, a lot of what those girls like liked or went towards was very like accurate to kind of what's on trend. Like a lot of comfortable clothes, people are like love
Baggy
comfortable
t-shirts.
clothes. Yeah, it's less about like kind of stuffy, like good looking clothes. It's more like comfort stuff.
No.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, the more like sustainable
Mhm.
and like environmentally friendly stuff people are really going towards.
Well, then I think kind of going back to that original point of like everything being really basic, I think that's where places like Urban Outfitters and Levi's are kind of coming into play, is because like they take it and they make it not boring, or they make it not like, you know, your basic pair of jeans. Like Reformation has a ton of like really interesting new like dress styles and like styles for like women's clothing, and then Levi's is just like the Levi's Made and Crafted, where they kind of make like
Oh my
the regular Levi's jeans and then they blow it out of the water and charge too much for it. But
Yeah.
like I think that is kind of like where that is going, is like really things that are going to be interesting, but also like they're not going to murder a planet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, that's good. I think the reason why it's important to like know what's trending and know what people are willing to spend their money on is because, especially like in the current climate of not being able to, you know, go to a thrift store or to the bins and pick something up for, you know, $1 or $2 and take a chance on it, even if you don't know what it is. Like, we're in a position now where either you're just accepting anything and everything from people who live near you that are going to do like, you know, porch drop-offs or pickups or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, you know, people like yourselves have turned to online arbitrage, and you got to know what you're doing and what you're buying. Otherwise, you are throwing a lot of money out there and not seeing a return. So you have to be really confident in knowing that what you're spending your money on is actually
very
that you're going to make.
People always
Mhm.
ask us to like make a video of how to online arbitrage, but it's like,
There's
it
a ton
doesn't
of
sound
steps.
that hard, but it's like, it's a pretty
It's really
complicated
intense. It's really intense.
process, because like, okay, there's so many different places to do it and websites to do it.
Mhm.
And like, you really have to pay attention, like you said, to how much you're spending on it, because you need to be confident that like you will get that return on investing more in it than you
Yeah.
usually would.
Yeah.
It's
But I think like it kind of goes beyond like just finding it, because like I think anybody could find like some cheap, you know, free people on Poshmark. It's not that difficult. I think it's kind of like knowing like what cheap thing to like really look at and like really invest in, I think is kind of like where it can be a little like hazy.
Yeah. And that's the reason why, you know, people ask me all the time, like, are you doing any online arbitrage? And I'm like, no, like I don't have, like, one, I have a ton of stuff at home, and I think, you know, I have a different business model in the sense of like, you know, this is like, it's really more fun for me. And I think it also is like, I enjoy going to sleep knowing that, you know, there were things that were saved from landfills and stuff because I was able to give them a new home. Even if, you know, that item is like a pair of American Eagle jeans or something.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I have no shame in that. I don't really care. So I'll take, you know, whatever people want to give me for free. And even if I'm just making a few bucks on it, I'm like, it's still cool, you know, it's still gravy. But I feel like another reason why I'm so hesitant to get into online arbitrage is because I'm just like, ooh, like,
it does
want to spend that kind of money. Because I think you also have to know, like, not just is it trending, is, you know, this something that people are going to spend their hard-earned money on. You have to also have a pretty good idea of how much you're going to make on it, and that's like its own set of research, because then you have to know, like, you know, most things will sell. Will it sell for enough that you actually
that you like make your money back and then you make a decent amount of profit?
Yeah. Okay, so, and we've talked a little bit about how since, you know, the pandemic hit, everyone's had to kind of pivot and change what they're doing with their reselling business. And obviously for you guys, some of it has been online arbitrage. Are there any other things that you've noticed you've had to change, or is it just kind of business as normal? What do you think?
Well, kind of going back to like the social media, I mean, like, it's been a lot harder to create Instagram content. That seems like a weird thing to complain about, but like,
because, well, like, people follow us to, like, because we're Goodwill, or whatever. I know that we can't go to that.
Or, like, even YouTube. Yeah, people really like to see hauls from us. And, like, we can't do that, really, unless it's an online arbitrage one that we've saved up. And we had a video about consignment store tips, but, like, that doesn't really apply to anyone right now.
We can't go to the consignment store.
So it didn't. I think you even commented on it, and you were like, this will really help me in the future or something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of clicked with me. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really help anyone right now. Like, people had asked for it for so long, but like, it was just not the time. So we've had to like change the content we're putting out and really plan for like what can people use right now. That's why we're doing Mercari ones, because people can cross post right now. Yeah, it's been hard to post Instagram pictures because we can't go take pictures anywhere. It's like,
Exactly.
here's Ryan's purple wall.
Yeah, it's
Here's
like,
his purple wall again.
what do we have in like the vicinity of a walking distance from my apartment building?
Yeah.
I think my big thing was when we used to be able to like go to Minnesota every other week, I would just like not package it, photograph it, like list it, like inventory it. I can't think tonight. But now I'm kind of like, I'll get a handful of items and I'll kind of like drag my feet with listing them just because I like don't want to, you know, go a day without not listing like anything. And it's kind of like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know, going through my closet and taking better pictures of things and like, you know, redoing descriptions and, you know, listing the same item, but just kind of like making it look a little bit better, a little bit more cohesive with the rest of my closet.
Yeah.
Which I, you know, no shame to it. And cross posting is a huge one too.
Yeah. I know. No, there's no shame to relisting. I despise it though, and I know I should do it more often. I wish Poshmark was easier, like eBay. And I don't know. I know you guys maybe started on eBay and dabbled with it. I feel like eBay makes it so easy to cross list, but I'm not cross list.
Reload. Yeah.
But I cannot get myself to do it.
Yeah, I know. It is not fun to relist. Posh. And since I know, so that's another thing that some people just seem like they have so much luck with. That's what I can't have luck with. When I relist stuff, nothing happens. Yeah. I'm just like, where some people are like, it'd been sitting around for a year and I relisted, then it sold in 10 minutes. And
I think
like,
that's kind of like, you know, luck of the draw.
I guess.
Like, it just so happens that like, you know, but Caroline was looking at, just found it 10 minutes ago. Bought it.
It's worse when you put in all the work into doing it on Posh and then like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, no. And they do think like using List Perfectly makes relisting on Poshmark easier, but it's still something I don't do because I hate it.
I don't really do it either.
Yeah. Someone asked, Marsha Whitehead asked, do they have a budget for online arbitrage? Retail arbitrage.
No. I mean, like, I'm obviously not gonna like, you know, max my credit card out shopping on Poshmark, but I definitely feel like if I will say like if I found a pair of Gucci shoes and they're $140 and I know I could make upwards of $500-600 on them, like I'm gonna buy them. Like I'm gonna invest a little bit more.
A lot of money.
No, it's definitely like it's a big investment, but like I am comfortable like investing more in things and just like in general that I know I'm gonna get multiple times my money back on.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're at the thrift store where it's like you kind of spend based on what you find.
Yeah,
like there's definitely a couple separate singular things that I bought in the last month that were like $60 to $70, which is like a lot more than I'd usually spend. But then sometimes I'll make like a bundle of 4 things for 20 plus shipping or something. So I don't really have like an amount that I'm like looking to spend, but I mean, once I've spent quite a bit in like a week, I'm just like,
okay, we'll calm down.
I should probably stop.
Yeah.
And
do you guys see yourselves doing this for like just the foreseeable future for now? Or, well, I know like Ryan, like you want to be an art teacher. But I know we had talked about how like you plan on still reselling even while you're doing that. But do you feel like this is something that's always going to be a part of your lives?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't have any plan in like stopping or anything because when we move to Minneapolis, which we're going to do once Ryan graduates,
real good.
I know what the situation is right now. Who knows?
Yeah. I only see my business just like taking off like more than it has now because I will be right by my place to get all my good stuff. And like, I can pump out like 4 packages to the Real every week. Like, tons of more stuff. I'm right by the bins. I can go like literally every other day. And like, I can just so much more turnaround than like I'm doing now. So definitely not.
Yeah. All right. And then New to You Steels and Specialties asked, are there any resources for labels, how to distinguish new from old? I will say they have a video about this. So
yes, we do.
Check out their channel and watch that video. Do you guys have any other resources, or you probably talk about it in that video, but
so this is really kind of like a no-brainer, but when I worked at Plato's, I would always just Google like American Eagle old brands or like new brand comparisons. And most of the time, if you do like an image search, it's like an older label with the newer label and talking about the differences.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is definitely an option for some of them, but I feel like with newer or like more expensive brands, it's kind of can be a little hairy.
And then some brands like American Eagle or J. Crew, they like have dates or years in them, so you can look at that. Or like there is this one website called like Vintage Label Guild or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's mainly, I think, high-end stuff. There's
for like
there's some like Lily Pulitzer and stuff on there, but like that's mainly high-end. Or else there's not really too many good resources out there.
I
Which
would
is
say
kind of too bad.
Yeah. Who was it? One of my friends has a picture in her phone. She's a reseller, and anytime she finds a really old brand, she takes a picture of it, and then they live in a folder on her laptop.
Oh,
like whatever brand that is. And I'm like, that's so much memory.
Yeah. I know. I feel like when I actually use Poshmark as a resource. I feel like because most
I 100% do.
Yeah, like people will take pictures of the the tag. And by the way, if you're just recently joining, this is my PJs right now. These are Harry Potter
pajamas we love.
So, but anyway, yeah, like sometimes if I'm unsure, like, is this newer, is it older? I'll just look it up on Poshmark and look at their brand label and then compare it to what I have. Yeah, so sometimes that helps, but yeah, I know it's stuff like that. Like to you guys, I think it's become such second nature, and then people like us that are like, is this the old Eileen or the new one?
Oh my gosh, my mom is the number because she like kind of resells on the side, and like she always is just like, is this an old label or a new label? So I know it is not easy. That is a pretty like
that's really really hard. It's really difficult, especially because like every single Eileen Fisher label is a black and white square with writing.
We'll just like convert like now it's white with black letters.
I don't even know either. Like Vince, I got no idea.
I think I could do Vince. I know the new one is white with black writing, and the one that they changed from is black with gray writing.
But then there's a gray one. There's like a yellow
one. And the really
one.
really old one is the gray one.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just like, it's Vince, people. If
I know. I'm not. It's expensive.
Here it is. I found 2 in like 8 years. Yeah, I don't know. And I think too, like, again, if you have the luxury of being in a place where there are a lot of like higher end things or, stuff like that, like you guys said, just Googling, I mean, that's everything, right? Like you see something that feels good or the tag looks kind of fancy and you look it up and, I'm here like, Ultra Flirt, is that something good? Because it's like that's what I'm finding,
And again, like going to Nordstrom or Madewell or Free People or whatever, you can see what the latest one is at least. Obviously, that won't teach you what like the older ones are, but that is a way to learn the newest ones. That's a lot. We learn the newest ones that way. Sometimes we'll be at Nordstrom and I'll be like, oh, they have a new label now.
Yeah.
No, we do that all the time. Yeah. Or if I go like on the Free People website, and I'm like, oh, Free People is selling this brand. So then I kind of like look deeper into that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is like a really expensive brand. I should be looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is all good. And it's, there have been times when I will do something and someone will ask me like, how did you do that? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I just did it. And I think it's like hard to remember sometimes that what comes so easily for some of us, just other people look at that person and they're like, how did you just do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, I apologize if some of my questioning was just kind of I'm sure it's like you guys are like, this is just, we just do it. Like,
I definitely understand that. Like, I have been looking at labels for a lot longer than I've been reselling and a lot longer than most people, I think.
Have been looking at
labels. So I'm kind of like, it's not as like weird to me to like, oh, I know what this is, or like this is the newer label, this is the new label, versus like somebody who's just starting reselling and they're like, what is this American label compared to the new one?
Like finding model pictures. A lot of people ask about that, and I'm always like, oh, it's so easy. You just Google, and I'm also
like, that's all I ever do is Google.
I've done it for
Free
so
People
long.
jeans, Free People floral top, like innate.
Yeah. No, so thank you for letting me just kind of like pick your brains a little bit and try to draw out some of what basically makes you guys like, trying to kind of spread that knowledge throughout. Because, these are things that I've struggled with. I know a lot of other people have asked me similar questions and I'm like, I don't really know how to answer you because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. And I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways from all of this is just, again, be very observant and, just kind of like make sure that you're looking at the things that will enlighten you as far as, you know, what is trending, what do people want to spend their money on. So I think that was really helpful. Do you guys have any like last words of wisdom or just tips you want to share? Or
I was gonna say Google searches are free.
Google is our best
Most
friend.
Goodwills have Wi-Fi.
I mean, yeah,
It's great.
a lot of my.
they have like Wi-Fi? I don't think mine does.
I don't
I
think ours
think
does
the
either.
Minneapolis ones do.
No, I don't think so.
That's super bougie. Like, what in the world? That's amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of my self-taught stuff is through Google. So
Oh.
use Google as much as
Angry
you
Owl
can.
Online. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Making it in tonight. Good for you.
Oh, I love the little owl emoji.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Okay, so Google is your best friend.
Love Google.
Yeah.
Or like other people have like sometimes I don't know what brands are, so I'll like, you know, I'll like, oh, I remember that from like a Savannah shoe shopping video, or like I'll remember that from like so and so's Instagram story. So just like follow a ton of people, just like watch a ton of haul videos, watch a ton of brand videos.
Use Google and absorb as much content you can like a sponge.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Just absorb like a sponge. And just take
Turn
it.
yourself to your computer.
Which, I mean, what an age we live in now that we can do that, you know?
Exactly.
You don't gotta take a course. You can just like teach yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's one thing I get on myself for all the time. I'm like, I'm just being lazy, you know? And I do enjoy fashion. And so I don't know. I used to like love watching like all the fashion shows and stuff like in Paris and New York and all that. And I don't know. Like I think too, like once you have kids and this is the kind of stuff you wear on a day, you know.
You're a mom and a teacher. It's completely understandable.
It's a very different
like
yeah. You're like, what is the point? Like I have like a basket of like bracelets and like different jewelry that I used to wear. My daughter's like, you never wear these. Like, why? I'm like, yeah, because you guys came along and like I can't
wear time to accessorize.
Exactly.
Yes. Like I was like, I didn't want to like bruise you or like, you know, like, my son like ripped a gold necklace off my neck once. Like and I was like, that's it. I'm not
like necklaces. No more.
Yeah. We should probably end on this. Anna Blair's crying. I like your hair. And they did it themselves. They did it themselves. They cut his hair themselves, and they
and a prayer.
Yeah,
nice when it grows out.
A YouTube video and
all night.
No, that's pretty. It's pretty impressive. You guys did a nice job. You did a nice job on his head.
I'm not bald, which is a plus.
Yeah, that's the default, right? Like with a lot of guys, like, if this turns out bad, we'll just.
See, that's my thing. I was like, you know, his hair will grow back. If it looks awful, I'll just shave it. But I think, you know, I look decent. No.
Yeah. Joyfully curated. Melinda,
have you been here the whole time?
She has. I know. You guys, I apologize. I've been horrible about like actual.
I haven't been paying attention either, so it's okay.
I'm so sorry. Again, it's because I'm selfish. I have an agenda, and I
just like
no.
Yeah, I'm like I have like things I need to learn from them.
That is totally fine.
No, I'm trying to be conscious of everyone's time, and I know that people have, you know, different things that they need to do and stuff. But if you guys are not following Jack and Ryan on all of their platforms, so let's go through this again, shall we? So they have a wonderful YouTube channel, and I'm so confused as to why they only have like, you guys have like what, 4,000 subscribers? Like
we just hit 4.5 like this morning.
Yeah, that's very confusing to me. I don't understand that. They should have a lot more subscribers. So if you're not sub to them and you want like a younger person's like, you know, like view into reselling, because let's be honest, like I feel like it's a lot of younger people who are buying stuff online, you know, like I mean nowadays more people obviously are buying clothes and stuff online, but you know, I think a lot of like people who are used to going to the mall and stuff, and that was like their primary source of shopping, like that's where they were doing it. They're also super, super active on their Instagram, and that's where you can find their Instagram handles and follow them. They always have really cute pictures. And there's also a website. You want to talk to us a little bit about what is on this website?
On the website, I have my Instagram feed, and I have a link to my Poshmark at the top if you're interested in that. And then I always have, or I try to keep it updated, I always have the latest YouTube video on there that you can literally watch from the website. Under that, I have the schedule of the ones coming out that next week. that we have planned out. And under that, we take suggestions on what YouTube videos you guys would
Got a
like
comment
to see.
section.
Yeah, so you can send in requests too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think like that's something that will hopefully come out of this is just people being like, ooh, like I really want to learn about blank. And you know, a lot of people saying they just subscribe to you. So that's
Thank
Thank you, everyone that
Instagram.
subscribed.
Thank you.
yeah. But remember, oh, I think it's gone. I had that one. The first video you need to watch of theirs is who's shopping here or whatever. Like, let that be your first. I'm telling you, especially if you're having a bad day, it's a good video.
It's a funny video.
I'm so
It's a
glad
good
you liked it
time.
that
I
much.
know.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here. If you are here watching the video, thank you, Jack and Ryan, for hanging out with me tonight and just shedding your knowledge on us. It was amazing. I feel like I learned a lot, and I have a lot of homework to do now, which is great. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.